This is another, so when we did that workshop, the node that we wanted to focus on to tell the story was downtown Bonita Springs. And then the second node that the group of people voted on was this node for the village of Estero. And this story is going to be more about nature, right? And what that could bring, right? So this is how it looks. This is the existing aerial. And the 64 acres is this part up here, this north part. And so you can kind of see where the river is.
And the trail's going to run along the river, or is it on perpendicular with it?
It's a,
okay, I see the I see it now.
the bridge crossing right there? And so it goes, and this is Corkscrew Road. So that will lead to the sports complex and Coconut Point. And then that leads up to Estero Parkway. So it's a very different feeling than crossing a downtown, right? And all the activity that's happening there. But that's a good thing, right? This is a moment of like quietness, peace, of like nature. And it is so magical. It really is. If you've never been in this part of the river, it's really beautiful. And also then it connects to the, I always say this wrong, guys, Coretian. I don't know why I can't say this right. Coretian?
That sounds about right.
Coretian.
State Park?
Yes. I love my state park, so I'm sorry if I always say that wrong. So south of the river is going to remain preserved.
Got it.
And there's an eagle's nest, so we're doing like a viewing tower for that. And there's going to be a path. So beautiful nature, Florida, old Florida.
I love it.
And then north of it, they're doing a bridge, a pedestrian bridge, because there'll be parking with a restroom. And then over by 41, there's that is Estero Outfitters that you can go rent kayaks, and it's awesome. And eventually that'll be a commercial development, so that it'll probably move into a building there. So, so. Right now, the way that we've looked at it, it's like we want to enhance what's already nature, you know. So the rendering that I sent you, the other one, this one. So this is what it would look like, right? So now, instead of an abandoned railroad, it's going to be a trail with a bridge. And so that's the actual bridge that's being built now. So we were going to mimic that to keep the consistency for the village of Estero. And over there is going to be the new restroom with parking lot. And so we're kind of just thinking about how we can add a dock and just kind of show the activity that can happen along this trail. So like you said, kayakers, this could be an open space for viewing, a place to rent bikes, a place to get ice cream, a place to pedestrian. Yeah. So it really could be anything, but we're just envisioning this node to be a little bit more about nature and outdoor. So, so that's kind of like what we're, showing what it is and what it could be, and kind of explaining what that abandoned railroad track would be.
Right, and it'll lead you into Lee County, Fort Myers, and you have the spring training for the Minnesota Twins, Boston Red Sox. I mean, and then it's going to go all the way to Tampa, to where there's a very vibrant art, food scene that's just, this is nice. Like, this is big stuff.
Yeah, it's really fun. I love this kind of stuff. So
how did you get involved in this? Like,
well, I read about it in the Gulf Shore Business.
Okay.
And I picked up the phone and called Deb, and it's like, hey, do you want to grab coffee with me? Because I really want to talk about this trail.
I love it.
Because I'm worried that this trail is just going to be a paved bike trail that isn't really thought out. And I just wanted to share with her the opportunity that it could be more than just a bike trail. And that's kind of how we hit it off. And we've been doing this work for a while now with them and kind of creating the story. And for us, it's really about giving back to the community. So we've been working on this as our pro bono job to help with bring this to the community.
For how long? How long have you guys?
It's been over a year. Over a year. It's just taken. It's taken the process, because we don't want to misrepresent the city. Like a lot of the that land on the city of Bonita Springs is their land, right? So we have to go through and make sure that everything is per their liking, right? So and everybody
ultimately they have to approve it.
Right.
They have approved it.
Right. And and we like to, we're showing, like, for example, that iconic park playground. Maybe there's a donor. I mean, people love this, right? I want to take this portion of the trail, and I want to donate an iconic playground as, whatever family. And so that's an opportunity the city can connect, have this private public partnerships. So we
want to pull up that one map that we had looked at
Yeah.
before we started airing the episode. Show me where it's at again, if you don't mind.
Is it?
I think
is it
it's
that
more
one?
in the beginning.
Here's the beginning.
It wasn't that one right here? It was just
Oh.
sideways.
Was it? I think so.
Yeah, it was sideways.
Yeah, it goes all the way down there.
Got it. So North Naples,
Mm-hmm.
all the way, goes through downtown Bonita.
Right, Wonder Gardens
Mm-hmm.
and Riverside Park.
That's an interesting place. You ever been there?
Yeah, and they're renovating that too.
Are they good?
And it's right off of the trail.
Yeah.
Their backside's on the trail, so thinking about having an entry from the trail side.
That's some old Florida stuff.
Yeah, different schools. My kids' school's on there, like right off the trail.
Perfect, perfect. So you keep going, you keep going, you
Mhm.
keep going. Here's Pelican Landing.
Horseshoe.
Huge.
Pelican Landing, yeah.
Mhm.
Going through some communities there.
You keep going north.
Mm-hmm.
Estero Community Park, which is currently there.
Yeah.
And then this is where the
Right, one of the notes. Yeah, the
Estero River,
River
Park.
Park.
Yeah.
there we go, perfect. And keeps going all the way through San Carlos Park.
Right.
And this is just the first phase, though. This is 11 and a half miles, correct?
Right. The 11 and a half stops at Estero Parkway. So it would be like, yeah, right there.
Okay, got it. And
The
this is-
total
Not-
is 14.9.
Not all the way up to
Got it.
Canada Lakes?
It'll go all the way up to Lico is the second phase.
Oh, gotcha.
So from there to there, second phase.
That is really cool.
Right. And so it's a continuous linear corridor. And so a lot of these trails, I think one of the successful ones also is the Underline in Miami. And I really
Okay.
like the way they did the wayfinding so that when you're on this trail, you knew where you're at. And the different, like just just if you can imagine like public art on here, like different moments along the trail that can be inspiring. It could be a community garden section. It could be a little amphitheater that just kind of comes off of it. So there's just like all these opportunities along the trail. Especially like when you hit, let's say, Lee Health Hospital next to Coconut Point. All the employees there having an opportunity to take a break and go on a walk. It's off. It hurts. Headquarters is very close to the trail. So there's just for these organizations too, it's an added amenity to their employees. Maybe riding their bike to work.
So you
safely.
had mentioned, and I know Jonathan has traveled how many countries? 14 or something?
A little over, very close to 10, yeah.
Close to 10? Okay. So I'm assuming you've traveled a lot as well. Very
Yes.
worldly.
I like to
So
travel.
out of all the places you have been, what would you say has inspired you the most when it comes to this type of park, this type of railway, this type of trail?
Well, the first one was the High Line because
Yeah.
I'd never really seen anything like that. And that was really unique. And the way they really thought about bringing in design through simple things like changing of the paving, and then it became a bench, or keeping pieces of the tracks and having like grass and you're on this trail, but there's so many things happening. There's like you're walking, but then you could sit over, you could stop and sit over here, and it feels very green. It's like a green ribbon along the city because it's just
That's
they
well
kept
put.
it was really inspiring because they took something that was not used and then everybody had to like deal with it, right?
Yeah.
It's like, okay, well, if I want to be successful, I need to be facing this trail. I need to have an opening door, like a door from my business
Right.
off of this trail. So it changed the way people thought about, there's a lot of lots that, we've
It's
identified.
a lifestyle.
Right.
Yeah.
Which is, what I really like about it. Because I'm active and I love nature. And so a lot of people, when they first move down to Southwest Florida, I don't think they really understand. But we have the majority of our year is sunshine, 300 plus days. In addition to that, our homes are a little smaller, but we have a huge outside living area. So
Yeah.
our houses are designed to sleep in. We entertain outside. We enjoy the outdoors. We enjoy our beautiful sunsets, our beautiful sunrises. We enjoy nature. All of Naples is a bird sanctuary. A lot of people don't even
Right.
realize that, but that's like really cool stuff. So to bring, how you identified it, like the green belt.
Yeah.
And then knowing that businesses are going to have to, not have to, but they'll want to.
Yeah. Yeah, for
Be
sure.
Be a part of this because it's a way of our lifestyle. That's what everybody moves down here for.
Right. Yeah.
It's
And
beautiful.
it'll, anybody who lives off of it will have property values increase. So, and the other interesting thing is underutilized lots. Like there's just little slivers of, what are you going to put a business, like what are you going to build there? But if now it's off a railroad track, then maybe that makes sense to be a bike rental or an ice cream shop. So it's it really kind of changes. It's another corridor and opportunity for businesses to bring in more traffic, especially the ones that are a little bit disconnected now feel more connected. Bonita Springs does a really good job with their pedestrian. It's very pedestrian friendly, but there's also a lot of people that live in Bonita that don't have cars and ride their bikes. So that'll be, it's going to be a hit once that comes there. But it's so exciting to be a part of it. I'm just really thankful that I get to be a part of it. Honestly, I think for me, our office is a couple blocks off the trail. But yeah, the idea really is to kind of share the story, show what it could be, and to really get the support from everyone, because the funding is, once we have that 50%, it starts to entice other avenues of funding, right? So there's ways that we can get grants for it that we're looking into. There's also private investors that are interested in that. There's so many people here that want to do good work. So yeah, these are some of the sponsors. Yeah, Ceremony Brewing, because you know what, they're going to be on the trail, and they're going to want people. I know. You know what, Ceremony Brewing, you're going to be my first stop.
There you go. Yeah, I'm
Wolf
excited.
Moon,
I
you
can't
see
wait
all
for
these,
this.
all these folks.
So I have a question. I would like to know, do we have a date, like a goal of when this needs to be completed by?
We do have a date.
Talk to me about that, because I'm excited.
That might be like secret.
We have 2 years, and I don't know that exact date, so I'm really sorry, Dad.
That's all right.
I'm sure I could look it up.
If
But
you're listening, we're sorry.
So 2 years from
and so I think we have a little
bit.
We have a little bit more than I think a year now. So it's already been kind of
So you're
started.
on track.
Yeah.
You're a year
Right,
into
right,
it.
right.
We're halfway when it comes to the $70 million, and we're pushing forward.
Yeah. So it's really, there's other avenues too. But at the end of the day, we really need Lee County to be on board too, and that's been a challenge, and only because there's so many things to do after Hurricane Ian to rebuild. The focus has been rebuilding. The focus has been building roads and bridges. There's just so much that's important right now.
Correct.
And so a trail is like not the priority.
Right.
And everybody has different buckets, and only so much can go around. So there's so we're competing, right, in a way, for attention and for money, because it's a very unique project. There's so many municipalities involved, right? You're crossing through Estero, which is their own village. Correct. You have the city of Bonita Springs, and it's all Lee County, and then you have Collier County. So there's so many people, right? So it's a really interesting project. Everyone's supporting it, but it also is going to be who's going to manage it, who's going to do the maintenance of it. So there's a lot of question marks, and so that's the part that we need to kind of clarify and understand and tell the story. But ultimately, we need everyone to support it so that Lee County is also supporting it, because their constituents, everyone wants it, so it's a win-win. There's this is not a losing project. There's no way this project's going to lose. So I'm very optimistic, and I think you have to be.
You do.
You have to be so optimistic.
But just showing, the vision, and illustrating it so everybody can see it with these renderings, and also what you went above and beyond doing, like in your office, of just like this map. That's dedication.
Well, it's fun. First of all, I love maps.
Yeah,
I'm obsessed with maps.
And what she does is like obsessions with maps and things. So
I just understand. I arrive at a city, and I'm like, we need a map. We need a map. Where's the map?
So we took a trip to Italy. She was like our tour guide. She had
I love it.
everything already in place.
I'm directionally challenged. Let me tell you, I'm gonna take Natalie everywhere I go.
I love going to national parks too, and that's like I need the map. Like I collect the little national park maps.
Nice.
Like I have like the one that I write on,
Mhm.
and you know when you get to the park and they like mark it, and you're like, oh, don't mark my map. You don't feel that way? It's just me. So I get two. One that's a clean slate for my saving in the future, and then the other one where they like marked
One's
it
a
up
pin
and
on the
tell
wall or
me
something.
where to go. Yeah. But so printing that map was really about helping people understand in bigger scale, like the connection points.
Mhm.
Like this little lot right here is abandoned, but it could be, now it's a very valuable lot
Right.
if it's done right.
Because it's all about location.
Right. And so
Mhm.
we want to entice good development,
Mhm.
right? We want one that's going to respond to nature, but also development that's going to enhance the trail, right? So there's just so many layers. And another concern for residents is privacy and safety, right? And so how can we make sure that they feel safe, that all these people are like, because some of these there's neighborhoods behind the
Right.
trail, so that's also in those sections we have to be cautious of how we design that part,
Mhm.
more buffered with landscaping, that kind of thing.
Mhm.
Or maybe the community decides I'm going to add a gate so that it's a new amenity, an access point for my community that we didn't have before. So
Right.
it just informs everyone along the trail, like you should really be thinking about this and how you can improve that portion of that section, and also like an added value to everyone around it.
It's a huge added value. And let me tell you, like, I'm personally invested in downtown Bonita. So, like, when it was mind blowing because I have really good tenants. So I hardly ever go up there. So my wife and I went up there over the weekend, and I was blown away. Because I've been there in a couple of years, and I was like, this is wild.
I know.
Like, the transition in such a quick amount of time.
I know. It's.
It can be a game changer too for
It
people
is a
that's
game
looking
changer,
for
first and
homes.
foremost. Let me tell you,
Like,
it is a game
specific
changer.
neighborhoods. Yeah, I
Yeah.
think.
Just alone with what they're doing is a game changer.
Mhm.
Adding a trail is going to add even more there. But again, so everybody comes here for the beaches,
Mhm.
and there's just so much more to Southwest Florida than the beaches.
So much more.
And if you do it right and you can share that, once you become a trail town, that's another goal,
Mhm.
right? Then people know, that's a destination point,
Mhm.
right? And that leads to further, exploring Southwest Florida. So it's a catalyst for the immediate cities and whoever's on that trail, but it is a catalyst for the entire region.
And this is a Blue Zone project, correct?
I believe, I don't know if they do Blue Zone anymore. I think I'm really actually not sure. It says right there on the website, so we're going to say that it is.
Right,
But I
right.
don't know why Blue Zone was no longer here, so I'm not sure about that.
Interesting.
But it's
Okay.
but the goal is that it's about activity and all
Mhm.
the things that Blue Zone is about, which is
Correct.
amazing. That's the goal, that this is part of that. So yeah, I gotta ask about that. This is not my website, just so you know.
It's a great website.
Yeah, yeah.
It gives you just enough information.
Right.
Just enough information.
It has a great brochure there that was developed to talk about the opportunities. It has the map. There's even a video of Deb going through showing portions of the trail.
Is there?
Oh, cool.
It really is so beautiful. Like even on its own, it's just very wooded. So these are examples of other trail towns and
Okay.
how they responded to.
So
Right.
would you say this is the website for people to kind of log into to check out all the information?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that website's
Yes.
Bonita Estero Rail Trail.
Yeah.
.com.
Yeah, that's awesome to see.
And
Other
there's
areas.
volunteer opportunities, donate money.
We need the money, guys.
And I wonder.
This
I
is
thought
the
there was
most
a video.
really captivating part.
Oh, they have
for
trail
me.
maps on
It just
that.
tells you very quickly. Alika Road along the 15-mile unused rail corridor through downtown Bonita Springs and Estero, ending just north of San Carlos. But then if you just scroll down, BERT will become part of the planned 42-mile Florida Gulf Coast Trail network in Lee County, and ultimately part of the 400-plus mile Florida Gulf Coast Trail stretching from Collier County to Tampa. I mean, that's mind-blowing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's crazy to
I
think
don't-
about.
And the amount
People
of
actually
bikers
ride
is-
that long.
Well, let me tell you, I have a ton of cycle friends.
Yeah.
And they do what they call a century, and they get on these bikes and they
They
go for
might create
100
some
plus
sport
miles.
events, like some bike
They'll
events.
definitely do
Yeah, for
sporting
sure.
ones. You'll
100+
have
mile.
you'll have
Or-
marathons.
yeah, for
you'll have
sure.
triathlons. I mean, it's
One of the sponsors is Trek, and they currently, like on Wednesdays at Golf Point, I don't know, I keep saying Golf Point, at Coconut Point, they have like these running days where you run down Coconut Road.
Yeah.
So now, I mean, if the trail is right
Mhm.
off of that area, so I can imagine that they would start using that as another opportunity. But there is a video, I thought, if you go up, I thought there was a video.
maybe. Let's click here. Let's see.
That's the brochure.
That's the brochure.
These show
itself.
some aerials of the existing. Yeah. If you go back one, you can kind of see this. If you go back, oh, sorry.
That's all right.
Did we hear? I'm sorry. If you go here,
Back in the brochure.
back in the brochure, yeah.
Uh-huh. All right.
This first one here, this stretch right here is that Coconut Point stretch. So that's Target, and just imagine a pedestrian crossing to
Mhm.
connect to Coconut Point. But you can see it's a really wide trail.
Yeah.
It's really wide, and it's very wooded. So one of the things too about Florida is being outside. You need a lot of shade. So there's so many opportunity for shade with the existing trees. And then this crossing is the crossing over by Estero Parkway. So
Got it.
very different feeling.
Yeah, I would definitely recommend all our viewers to go to this website, BonitaEsteroRailTrail.com, to kind of dive into it a little more because it's
And to go downtown Bonita and in the village of Estero and see all the stuff that's happening
Nice.
in those cities too.
Yeah, this will definitely bring a boost in the economy down in downtown Bonita, for sure.
Yeah,
With
Mm.
all the, restaurants and
yeah,
good little spots there.
that's the goal, right? That's the goal that not only is it, there's just a lot of layers, that safety, connectivity, boosting the economy, boosting those small businesses, creating more development. Oh, that was one of the things I was gonna say. It was just there's these along the trail. There's just slivers of lots that just don't make any sense, and like there's just so much opportunity in those. So showing what it can be, and then allowing people to come up with their own ideas, right? So entice developers to come and develop it, right? Like that makes sense, right? Something that makes sense along the trail.
Natalie, thank you so much for sharing your time and insight today. This was such a fun and eye-opening conversation. If you're listening and want to get involved or learn more, check out BERT's website, BonitaEsteroRailTrail.com. That's BonitaEsteroRailTrail.com. And remember, whether you're buying, selling, or just wanting to know what's happening around town, we've got you. We've got your back. Blair White Team. 239-270-8614. From the trails to the keys, we're here for you.